afternoon and welcome to the APTA's Grand Prix Series, the Detroit Invitational Grand Prix, sponsored by the APTA national sponsors Viking, Fusion, Upswing Health, and My Paddle. We are live from the Orchard Lake Country Club in Michigan on the APTA network presented by eNet Live. I'm Jerry Viant, along with Brad Easterbrook, bringing you the men's quarterfinal between Ryan Baxter and Ricky Heath, and the number 2 seeds Nathan Crick and Randy Lofgren. And Brad, this is a rematch of a couple of weeks ago where this team met also in the quarterfinals at the Midwestern. So why don't you go ahead and introduce the players and we can talk about what we expect to see.
Well, thanks, Jerry. It's great to be here for this rematch, men's quarterfinal. So on the top left of our screen, in the all-gray outfit with, I guess, a black hat, a left-handed player, Ricky Heath, and his partner to his right, on the top right of our screen, is Ryan Baxter, who's a pro out there in the Detroit area in Birmingham. And on the bottom right of our screen is Nathan Crick, and his partner to his left in the shorts, braving the bitter cold out there. In all shorts is Randy Lofgren in the cap and the shorts. So we're looking forward to a great match here. Why don't we take a look at how the teams got here? Take a look at the draw. All right, so there you go. Crick and Lofgren are our second seeds. We got it right there. Had a couple of rounds before this, and no upsets or anything today, Jerry. Just,
no, we showed the previous match. They beat the Heil brothers in a very close 2 sets. I think it was 7-5, 6-4. A very contested match. Could have gone either way. It was a really good match. So I know Crick and Lofgren are probably happy to get through, but probably not so thrilled that they were out there for so long. And they really had to play. Actually, no, I think I've made a mistake there. I think we played the other match. Sorry, we played Kayla McKnight, played Held. That was 7-5, 6-4. So I actually am looking forward to calling this match because I have not called a match with Crick and Lofgren before. I haven't seen them play only on side matches that I've picked up later. So obviously I have seen Baxter and Heath play. And I watched a little bit of that match that they played at the Midwesterns. So the pace of play, I mean, you mentioned the temperature before. Right now it's 20 degrees, but feels like 7 degrees out there. And the sun has come out. I know they had some snow come through, but the temperatures for today and tomorrow are supposed to be like the coldest that they've ever had. So seeing Randy out there in shorts is a little alarming.
Yeah, Randy Lofgren, actually, who resides in North Carolina. And, it's a great rematch. We were talking about before that it was a rematch, and you watched a little of that match before. Pace of play, as you were talking about, is kind of a big deal. Heath and Baxter were an up-and-coming team, and then Ricky Heath didn't play, actually, for a couple of years. Right. It's nice to see them back, but they were hitting way too many hard down overheads into Crick's corner, and Crick was literally spiking balls one after another. They kept going with the same type of strategy. Let's see if they can make some adjustments in today's match.
Yeah, and Ryan Baxter, who since he has come into the area at Birmingham, I think he's energized the paddle community here. So these clubs are about 30 miles north of Detroit. There's all the 4 clubs that we're using. They have 4 courts in the area, and there's probably about 600 players competing in their in-house leagues. So they're very excited. They've done a fabulous job. Shout out to both Lincoln Wagoo and Ryan Baxter, who are the tournament directors here. They're very excited to be hosting the Grand Prix. We might just note that the women this past Friday, they played at Hinsdale, so we had some difficulties and the tournament requested not to be streamed, but Heather Prop and Wendy Spears won that Grand Prix over Spencer Caravaggio and Sandy Kvetovich. So we'll be back to streaming the next Grand Prix, men and women together in Philly in a few weeks. So Ryan Baxter, we're going to be looking for that big, flat, heavy forehand that he likes to hit. And I would imagine if you got hit with it today, Brad, it would hurt.
It would sting. He rips it. You know, the biggest thing with Baxter, he can do a bit of everything, cut finishes, everything. It's just decision-making, controlling the pace of play. Both teams have lefties, so that'll help them both deal with the sun. You know, they can have either a righty or a lefty take it. All right, so we have Nathan Crick here starting play.
Yeah, so with both teams having a lefty, I mean, that's not, you don't see that. There's not a lot of teams that have that combination. Do you think it affects their strategy?
Oh, it definitely changes the way you have to look at things on the court. You know, if the lefty has a good forehand, the middle is a very dangerous place to just play the spot. And we all know that top teams and top players look for that safe spot on the court. And in this case here, you're going to have to work the ball into Heath's backhand a little more, go long and deep into the deuce court when you play him, as opposed to try to, you know, spike the ball down. You know, you got to keep it out of the middle more so.
I can see the game plan in this first game. You've got lefty hitting to the lefty.
Yeah, it's interesting. If there's a bad sun area, it would be on the top of our screen into Baxter's side screen. That would be the worst area for the sun. You'd have to look in there on side back screens.
Yeah, you can see the shadows on the courts. The sun's coming around.
You see the huge Baxter forehand. A lot of offense on the court. Randy Lofgren in the shorts, his backhand is stronger than his forehand. Very good flat backhand. Forehand will kind of mix it up on you. He can hit it, but he uses it more as a push drive. Catches guys off balance here and there, but he doesn't really crush it. His backhand he hits with a lot of offense.
And he likes to blitz. He likes to come in. I mean, he's dangerous in the backcourt.
Yeah, he's got good hands. He takes the ball early. He can one-time it early. You can see him moving in right there, early position. There's the blitz, but a great crossover volley by Ryan Baxter.
Go closer to it. Okay.
I think the speed of play for Baxter and Heath is critical. That they have to show that they're willing to build the point and wait for the right shot.
I agree with you, Jerry, and I think it's going to be crucial both at the net and from the baseline. What a beautiful setting, Jerry. It's just a winter wonderland out there.
Yeah, like I said, they had actually, you know, kudos to these guys that they traveled from the Carolinas, drove up in a snowstorm, drove to the tournament. I mean, these guys have played, I'm talking about Crick and Lofgren, these guys have played 6 tournaments so far this season, 5 NRTs, 3 of which they've won. 1 final and 1 semi, and then 1 semi in the Grand Prix. So they obviously love to play, and they've put in a lot of time, a lot of effort. And remember, these guys, you know, in these COVID times that we're in, these guys are sitting in their car between matches. You know, the huts are closed and the locker rooms are closed, and
you can see Randy Lofgren Again in the shorts, hitting a lot of spike overheads, using his height, hitting the balls down hard into Baxter's backhand, trying to make him hit that backhand, staying away from the
Advantage,
forehand,
Crick,
deciding to go
Lofgren.
hard in there. Great job. They were down 15-40, took the next 4 points. Going to close out the first game.
Deuce.
Our next 3 points. Now it's back to deuce. We got our scorekeeper there again. None of these matches have umpires, Jerry.
Yep, Jim LaRue is our scorer.
You can see in the early goings how they're keeping the ball out of the middle, away from the Heath Baxter forehands.
Look how tight to the net Crick Lofgren gets.
Yeah, he's hitting a spike
Right.
overhead and closing right on top in case they
Right.
drive it.
But as soon as that ball goes into Heath, he's really closing the net. So Heath can get that lob higher and deeper down the line. Lofgren will have to work a little bit harder.
Yeah, we
Right
haven't
now
had
those
this.
lobs are short.
Right, we haven't seen him go beyond the service line yet.
Right. So with the short lob, he's allowing that down-up dump to keep happening. And like you said, Baxter is looking into the sun.
Advantage, Baxter, Heath.
Baxter did a good job cutting off that down up overhead he was looking for at that time. Good switch there at the net from Lofgren and Crick. They've played together so many times.
That's the lob. That's a much better lob.
It's a great lob and a good look. He just can't get over it. He didn't get set. She's going to keep going down into that Baxter forehand. Hard side backs.
But again, all of these lobs are too short to open up the court.
Yeah, it's a good 20 degrees. You got to recognize, I mean, these guys are all pros. You know, they got to
Advantage,
know
Crick, Lofgren.
in this kind of weather they're going to have to finish their lobs a little more, carry them deep. The ball's a rubber core ball. It reacts to the temperature. We haven't seen Randy Lofgren hit an overhead outside of the service box yet. And the one that happened, they got Crick to go behind him, and they got some movement from the net team.
Right.
And they got a decent look, but they didn't convert, but that's the look they're going to want to find more and more, Jerry.
Game one, Crick or Lofgren.
Yes, I mean, it's such a small court to begin with, so you've got to use every inch of the high percentage area of the court and just move that ball around. And you can see Randy Lofgren just hitting those down-up overheads, and the ball is just dying in there. Like we said, the temperature affects the ball. It's not going to travel that fast. It's not going to compress and bounce out far.
Now, in this case, they're going to look for a lot of balls to the Lofgren forehand. That's going to be a safer spot for them. And the Crick backhand. Crick's got a pretty good forehand. It's not devastating, but it's good if he uses it at the right time. And these teams are all excellent teams. You know, really, really good.
That's the combination. Is like lobbing that ball down the line like that
love.
and making the backcourt team, the backcourt player go behind their partner opens up the court. Ricky Heath's got one of the best serves in the game.
30 love.
Just a big, big serve. He aims for the nick.
40 love.
Ooh, quick game.
It's a pretty quick service game.
One apiece.
Yeah, 3 missed returns. It's tough. They're going to draw their bead.
Thank you, sir.
But good serving there from Heath.
We're going to see Randy Lofgren's underarm serve.
15 love.
And notice his feet, Brad. He's got the open stance. See a lot more players going with the under or side arm serve. It's particularly effective in this temperature as well, because that ball is just not going to come up.
5 all.
Yeah, I like Lofgren's serve. He's gone to
15-30.
a full inside out. He's got a wide open stance. He just uses his upper body, upper torso. He hits the ball outside in. And the ball actually moves the opposite way. Faulted on the last one, but it's been pretty effective.
So, Brad, do you think it's just a personal choice, having your feet sideways, hitting that underarm serve, or open stance, technique?
Well, he's not really hitting an underarm serve, Lofgren. He's hitting it sort of side. You know, it's
Right.
above the, it's quite a bit above the waist, and it's a little lower than a regular overhand serve. So he's hitting the ball across from the side, and the way he's doing it, he's just using his upper body. So absolutely, it's a personal choice, but I think it works great for him, and it allows him to get an initial first step right into the court. There you see the early backhand there from Lofgren. He's terrific at taking the ball early, and one time down his backhand side, you got to be very careful.
$15.40.
Right, so another
With break point
15-40 game.
opportunities.
Yeah. You see Baxter looking to cut off one of those down-up overheads with the backhand, and Heath covered
Yeah,
him.
he likes to sneak up that side.
But they got, like you said, though, and we were talking about, Jerry, they got a lob better so that he doesn't have so much angle into that down wire over there. I mean, Lofgren's a tall guy. He's probably 6'3", so he's going to get more angle anyway, so you got to make sure your lobs are getting high enough and deep enough.
Yeah, Lofgren's just doing a fabulous job of stopping Baxter from being able to generate any offense off of the screen. And Crick's got that little slider kind of push overhead as well.
Yeah, he's got a good mix. He holds in the slider. He doesn't really have the cut finisher. None of these guys. Baxter has probably the best cut finisher on the court. He'll just keep working that low slider. He lets it drop. He cuts it into the side where it bites a little bit. But they're just working right now hard side backs. They just want to keep this ball to their backhand. And Heath and Baxter are doing a good job right now, just staying with their strategy, taking only good looks in this game.
And that's a great angle. Shows that ball coming into the deuce side.
This is a battle at this point.
That's the deepest lob we've seen. Crick was outside of the service box. There we go again. So Baxter starting to get a little bit more feel on the lobs.
Oh, it is tough in that cold weather.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't. I mean, even with the block lob, you have to have your legs under you to get it up. You know, there's just like we said, that ball is going to be colder and harder to, you got to really swing through.
You know what I love to see from Baxter and Heath here, in the first game they had a couple of break points as well, and they squandered them a little bit. Here they're waiting for the exact right ball. They're not giving away any of these break points. They're looking for the right ball. Anyone that wasn't perfect, they've only hit like a 3/4 drive that they know they're going to make. Keep working Lofgren and Crick until they're finding the right ball. And a great job by Crick and Lofgren not giving it to him. Ooh. Good backhand flick, like a. Wow. Oh. And he just took it. You know, he stayed off that the whole way. And I don't think he had Crick off the net. Great point there from Lofgren and Crick. They just kept battling.
Just
Oh,
wide.
this is that.
Baxter got it down low at the feet of Crick, made him volley up.
Two
And
games
Brad,
to 1. Baxter
just to
Heath.
update on one of our other quarterfinal matches, Lewis and Lofgren are up 3-love against Aaron and Murphy. And Aaron jumped in for Paul Rose. It was
Yeah, it was supposed to be Murphy and Rose.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. So Ludo, who was a tournament director for Grand Prix at Indy, battling it out in the quarterfinals.
And then there you saw Ryan Baxter starting off his serve. Again, he's using the underhand serve. It's a little more than just a full underhand, and he's going with a little bit of an open stance as well. I think a lot of players who are hitting the underhand serve, the reason why they hit it, it's sort of like hitting a transition ball in tennis, where you go at it with an open stance and you move right through it. And that's why you're going to see a lot more open stances on these underhand serves.
Love 15.
I like the way Crick moves the ball around. So a little chip there, block, lobbed it wide. Nice drop.
15 all.
Heath tends to play closer to the net, so he'll be looking for those drop shots.
That's a great lob. See, that's the dangerous overhead from Ricky Heath. I don't like to see him let that ball drop, push that through the court. Oh, got to push that wide.
30-15. $40-15.
And that's Lofgren's backhand return to serve is such a weapon, but you can see that ball, the serve is just not coming up as usual
games to
strike
1,
range.
Baxter Heath.
So now it's down by your knees.
And that's the whole
Much
point
tougher
of the
ball, right?
underhand serve, right? To keep
Yeah.
the ball a little lower. And I got to think the 20-degree temperature with a feels
Yeah.
like of whatever, 7, can't be helping. It's so funny, too, as you watch it from here, it just looks like this beautiful day, sun's out, and it is a beautiful day, but cold. Great dig and beautiful finish by Lofgren there. Drop shot definitely very useful in the cold weather.
5 love, 15 love.
I do not want to see Ryan Baxter dive for any of those low balls. He has been known.
Yeah, he definitely is one who was spent some time on the ground.
15 love.
I think it made the highlight reel, right? That shot that he dove for at Nationals in Darien.
30 love.
You know, in the early going, you know, Jerry, I mean, other than the execution of, like, saying lobbing better, what do you think of the tactics from the teams?
I think they're good. I think the speed of play is key for Baxter and Heath. If they're going to play fast and just take the wrong shots at the wrong time, like
love.
sometimes, you know, too deep in the court, then Crick and Lofgren, they're ready for that. But if they're willing to slow down and build the point.
Oh, that's a great ball from Baxter.
40-15.
You know, if you can see the way he did that, he read Lofgren going back. He not only hit up the ball for topspin, he hit up and across it, made the ball move inside. So he put a side spin on the ball, top into the side, and Lofgren could not get it because the ball came off the screen and bit into him.
I think both teams are doing a good job of shutting down the biggest shots off the deck. We haven't seen a lot of Baxter forehands, and we haven't seen a lot of Lofgren backhands.
You know, and conversely, what we were talking about before, Baxter, he's just doing a great job of not forcing it when they're not getting it. Oh!
Right, and
Oh, they went let cord, let cord.
40-30.
Nice job from Heath there. Beautiful shot through the middle.
And that's a level separator, right, Brad? It's like when to take the right shot. Have a willingness to wait for that right shot and build the point so you get that shot. That and a finishing overhead.
Yep. Yeah, there's a few things, the transition play, finishing overhead, just that mental toughness of playing the right shot. Absolutely all the things that, you know, make the difference. Good job from Crick.
Nice.
He sees Heath moving up the line instead of hitting the ball down to the side wire. He waits, he pushes it back at him. He still takes it, and he forces the air out of him. Great job.
Yeah, nice job deep in the court. So just a shout out to a lot of the volunteers at the club who have rallied to pull this off. So we've got Steve Lord, who's assisting as the tournament director, and Myra Davis, who is giving us the score updates. So thank you guys, we really appreciate all the help. You know, again, the paddle community just rallies together to enable us to pull these off, because we're not there. We're commentating remotely, and we're doing this remotely, so we're really grateful and dependent on the paddle communities that we're streaming from to really jump in and help us out. So we're able to bring all these events.
Love.
And again, you know, Ricky Heath's big serve. Up 40 love in the second in his second service game.
Terrific hands there from Ryan Baxter.
Crick's got good hands off the deck, Brad.
Take one here.
cut overhead there from Ricky Heath.
Game. 4 games to 2, Baxter Heath.
Yeah. I was about to say the score wasn't right because Crick and Lofgren won the last game, so it's 4-2 now for Baxter Heath. Good roller. Yeah, they're just doing a little better job executing, you know, Baxter Heath. Getting a little more looks, taking the right looks. Good cutoff, shutdown volley, as you said. They're doing a great job cutting balls off.
Yeah. And Lofgren takes 90% of those balls and goes into Baxter's side.
You know, it's clearly the strategy, and there's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. I mean, it's the right play, keep hitting Baxter. The only thing you can do differently against a player like Baxter is see if you can work him. He's seeing the same ball over and over and over again.
He sees Baxter's looking to move in. He's looking to take that ball on the rise. What he's got to eliminate is sometimes he'll take those half volley shots, half volley drives. But so far being very disciplined. And Crick and Lofgren not giving them anything to work with.
Yeah, they're doing a great job, both teams, and they're just finding little seams to hit an off-pace drive, maybe hopefully get a shorter volley, something to work with. But we haven't really seen like a single ball that was like crushed or anything like that. You know, driven through the middle, seen very little transition play, just constantly overheads in the right spot, players lobbing it back and looking for it. And good move. You're right, Jerry, though, what you were saying before. They got to just keep lobbing Lofgren off that net. The down the line high lob. He's cutting balls off as well.
Yeah.
Still good play from all the players out there.
You just want to, open up the court as much as you can. You're not going to get too much team confusion out of Crick and Lofgren. They've played so much together. They're tournament tough, so you're not going to get that hesitation error that sometimes you get with a pickup team. So you just really need to be definite where you want to put that ball. Too deep in the court, and that's
30-15.
Crick and Lofgren are just waiting for that. They're waiting for that, for them to take a swing from too far back, and Lofgren's right on the net.
Oh, nice shot. Did not
40-15.
read that one. Good long, low overhead. Tough in this cold weather. It's not going to shoot out that much. There, they finally got some confusion out of Crick and Lofgren. Lofgren was going back for that overhead. Crick went back as well. both off the net.
Did I just say that you're not going to get any confusion because they're a
Yeah,
well-oiled
I
team?
said they finally got some, yeah.
That's the first I've seen.
Game.
All right, got the nick.
4 games to
4-3,
three,
Baxter Heath.
Baxter
Not
Heath.
much in it, Brad.
No, it's, I mean, there's just a little bit of execution separating the teams right now. Both teams are sticking to their guns and just a shot here or there.
I mean, if they lob deeper, they could lob and shift, split the court and show a different look. Or if they lobbed and continually lobbed a little bit deeper, you know, they could sneak in and blitz and have, you know, and create pace. I mean, Baxter likes to play fast, so, but they can't do either of that because they're not lobbing deep enough. They're not getting their opponent's feet out of the service box. So they're having to build the points off of the screen, and it's tough. Crick and Lofgren have really, you know, handcuffed them.
Yeah, on both teams. And on either side, have we seen the return of serve be a factor at all?
No.
You know, some of these matches where you see, like, the guy puts the serve in, the guy just rips it through the middle, somebody staying back. They pretty much, both teams have just had the net, you know, when they've wanted. They're serving, they're in behind it. And these are just these subtle differences. Like, you know, you play a team like Durant and Mitchell, you know, top team in the country right now. You know, it's very hard to keep the net all the time against certain players. These guys right now are doing a great job with it. So as a consequence, it's all about building the point from the backcourt. And you got to lob well enough to do that.
Like that, Crick just pulled Baxter out of the service box. This is a big game.
Getting that ball up, it's so short. It's a quasi drop attempt. Great volley there from Baxter. Heath going to work here with some cut overheads, and a great job. Great job. Kept Lofgren and Crick off balance the entire time.
Oh, sneaky
great
little
spot.
shot down the line.
Yeah, but Crick left him that space open. He went over there. He's got to go cover that line. And see, I think that error is just due to Heath constantly attacking him. He tried to hit a better lob, and he just couldn't do it. It's a great hit.
40-15.
And I think you're right, Jerry. That low serve really affecting Lofgren. He can't hit down on the backhand. He doesn't hit the backhand with spin, right? He hits it flat. So if it doesn't come up enough, you know, he can only do so much with it.
Great move there by Lofgren on the blitz.
Yeah, sneaky, and he got in very quickly.
Fabulous lob down the line by Crick.
He's going with leaping spikes,
Yeah,
Lofgren.
he's got
It's like he's a little extra leap and down.
really
nice
trying to
look.
get the top of the ball.
You got Heath in the shorts right now, but these players are working every single point. I mean, we're routinely seeing 40, 50 ball points, Jerry.
Yeah. Yeah, they're grinding. That's a good combination of lobs right there. Pulling Crick behind. Baxter went cross court. Again, though, the whole purpose of that lob is to create movement, is to get the teams moving, get an opening, looking for that short ball.
There's a ball with Lofgren out of the service box. Good job, but nice cutoff from Crick.
Start again.
Nice move that time. I think, Jerry, he's going to have to show him that every now and then.
Yeah.
He's going down to his backhand so many times.
Yeah, Lofgren, he's so tight on the net.
They are just
wide.
working Crick over there now with Heath just pounding
I
away.
agree, Brad. If Baxter can slide over, I mean, he likes to take that ball off the deck, and if Lofgren beats him in the side back, just let it go, because Heath's forehand's right there in the middle.
The issue with that yeah, I mean, Lofgren he loves his back. Oh, great shot.
That's the spot.
That's a
That's
great
a big
game.
hold.
5 games to 3.
5-3.
Baxter.
Yeah, but they played it really, really well. Heath doing a lot of work, just twisting, putting Nathan Crick in the washing machine a few times.
Oh, I love that overhead.
Yeah, just return the favor.
15 love.
Bites the side screen and then drops on the back screen. Heath cannot get into a driving battle with Lofgren at net.
Yeah, Lofgren's with Lofgren all over the net. Let's just say that, right?
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, you just have, there's a play. That's the play.
A great look from Baxter. Way to read it.
But right, I mean, even though you want to drive it, you just have to be disciplined to know that Lofgren is going to make you pay.
There he is, cutting it off again. Basically a version of I formation there from Crick and Lofgren. They slide into it very well. And what that means is they got Lofgren, like we talked about, all over the net. Crick sometimes will slide right behind him. Oh.
15-30.
Lofgren's got to think about putting that overhead deeper in the court if he's going to go back to Baxter now, because you can see Baxter's looking for that ball, moving up the court like you said. They're just doing a better job of opening up the court.
And they've come to realize what the strategy from Crick and Lofgren is now, and they've made the adjustments. You got Baxter looking for that ball. He's 2 or 3 good backhands. And because Baxter has a backhand, we've seen it. I mean, it's just that it's just not quite as explosive as his forehand. But if he knows it's coming and he's constantly moving up in the court, Looking for the cutoffs. That's a beautiful combination. Wide drive, down the line lob. Yeah, they're just creating more seams right now.
So Lofgren was all over that before Baxter even swung at it.
Nicely done.
30-40.
Crick one timing it off the bounce. You get the energy from the bounce. You get effectively double the spin when you can time that right.
Deuce.
Great cutoff by Lofgren. Again, you just can't get caught up and try to get a drive by him.
And out.
He does play a ton of forehand volleys. If you could find his left hip, you know, that would be the key. But
First
ultimately,
set,
you're right.
6-3
The big key is just to not hit it when
Baxter,
he's right
Heath.
on top of the net.
That's game and first set, Brad. So not much in it, but you just, so far I'm impressed by the discipline of Baxter and Heath. You know, they're really showing that they're willing to work the point and pick different spots and not take the swing too early. And when they have taken that drive from too far back, you know, Lofgren has shown them why they shouldn't.
Right, and
So I think we're going to
better job creating seams.
Yep.
Go ahead,
I think
Jack.
we're going to take a quick break, a 2-minute break, and we'll be right back after this commercial.
The new athletes come up with new ways and new strategies to try and play the sport. It used to be played in a very traditional type of style, but now there are about 6 or 7 different service styles, many different ways you can attack or play a point, and it's just an exciting new territory that the sport has gone into.
I'm Florentina Hanisch, and this is my paddle.
All right, well, welcome back to the APTA Grand Prix Series. We're in the men's quarterfinal between Ryan Baxter and Ricky Heath, who just took the first set 6-3 over the number 2 seeds Nathan Crick and Randy Lofgren. And this is a rematch of a couple of weeks ago at the Midwesterns, where Crick and Lofgren won in 3 sets. That's our first cutter drop for the match, I think, Brad.
That was beautifully done by Ryan Baxter. He does have a pretty good cut finish. And he did that one perfectly. He held it, while it's short. Beautiful. here, this combination here with Heath hitting that overhead into Crick's corner really did some damage there towards the end of that second set. You see them switch now in the backcourt where you got Lofgren moving over. It just changes the look. He's still going to work over there, but Lofgren's got a different skill set. Takes the ball earlier. That's going to be a good shot.
Oh.
You know, to me, Jerry, that was one of the absolute difference makers in this right here, this Heath overhead that he's letting drop. He's hitting hard to the back screen into the deuce, you know, backside wire and spinning it into the side.
30 love.
Ooh.
Not sure what happened there.
I think just a loose error. He was just pushing it back, and I think he hit it long. Now, Lofgren's been involved at the net, but not really involved in the backcourt at all. And we haven't seen his his backhand factor. We'll see if he looks to get more active in this set.
The speed of play is a little bit quicker. These first two games that we saw, this first game that we saw in the second set.
There's the switch again in the backcourt. Lofgren recognizing that they were having difficulty there.
Like that was a great lob that pulled Heath all the way over behind Baxter, and he hit that ball faster than he could shift. And now the opening was there. Now when you're out of the service box, you've really got to know where your safe spot is and what the speed in which you hit it there so that you're covering.
Deuce.
Yeah.
So the most times that Ricky Heath had to serve in this match, he's been holding his serves relatively easily and quickly.
Yeah, well, good job though, like we were talking about from Crick and Lofgren with some switches in the backcourt.
Yeah.
Creating some different looks for him. It definitely was one-dimensional a little bit from Crick and Lofgren in that first set. Same overheads too many times when they're at the net, same looks in the backcourt, Lofgren not involved.
There's the switch.
Again, so fast, so quick, right on top of the net.
He's got such great hands.
He does, but watch how many forehand volleys he plays. If you could find his his left hip. And he anticipates really well. careful. He held it. It looked like he was going to bounce it
Game,
right into
Baxter,
the side
Heath.
screen with a little waterfall.
They
and he
lead
just
1
drops
game
it right
to
over.
0.
Just getting some score updates from the other matches. Fraser and Morgan are up 4-1 in the first set against Kayla McKnight. And Ram Wagner got the first set 6-1 and are up 3-love against Hirsch and McGrath. Lewis Lofgren got the first set 6-1 and it's 1-2 against Aaron and Murphy.
So some fun little mashups in this tournament out here in Detroit, Jerry, you know, because we've had, you know, Rams and Kayla having a great start to the season, and they opted to switch partners. You had Hirsch and Wagner, who has been a team for a bit now, and they've switched partners for this one. So fun mashups here at Detroit. Cutting balls off at the net, but he's never like hitting a drop volley or cutting one. You know, he just keeps pounding it back into the screen. I'd love to see him mix it up a little, use his hands a little bit differently. Great hands.
Yeah, that wore Ryan Baxter down there. I don't know if the sun was in his eyes or it just was off balance. But that's the kind of points you just throw back another lob. Boy, I really love that overhead from Crick. He gets it deep in the court. Like, you can see that shadow on the court. He gets it past that shadow. Especially that one that goes like right there by the singles line. Really handcuffs his opponent. Like you said, you know, they need to add a cutter overhead, a finishing overhead to their repertoire. Because right now you can see Baxter and Heath, they know it's going to come deep, right? They're not looking to move forward just in case, so that you can't wrong foot them.
Yeah, and they're comfortable. Good shot there. Good move. Now, these are the little danger zones you look for. So now we've seen some basically great disciplined play from Baxter. Now, that wasn't necessarily a bad look, but maybe he's forcing a couple. He just missed badly 2 backhands there. And these are the cracks that Crick and Lofgren really need. You know, right now, they, you know, any little small crack, and that first set goes the other way, you know, easily.
Same right there.
Yep. Now they're talking back there, you know, Baxter and Heath, so that's good. But this is the first game we've seen them basically give them 3 points. You know, was one a bad look? It looked like 2 of them maybe shouldn't have been hit.
Sure what's going on, if Ryan thought it was long or good or on that serve.
Conference is done and it's 40-15, so now it's 40-30. Off-pace drive, but fairly routine volley, just missed it. Happens.
Oh, nice hold.
I mean, there was
a replay of that one.
Love to get a replay, but Crick completely thought that Lofgren was switching behind him, or something happened there, because it was a wide open look.
Yeah, Heath really set up his paddle early and then held that ball off the screen.
least different overheads now from Lofgren.
Yeah.
And maybe have one of those, then one of another, right? You know, the two different looks in two different times. He did 4 in a row that time. They were good. But
Right, you're just
change
trying to
them up.
make your opponents be uncomfortable. Right, not let them get into a groove. So you're right, a good, a combination of that jump, dump overhead, and then let it drop the next one and give them a roller.
Like that ball there could be a cut finishing overhead or a very, much more aggressive attacking overhead.
Yeah.
Just not hurting him in the spots where they could develop a little more in the point, but Heath and Baxter, they're just doing a great job staying comfortable, waiting for the right ball.
But again, you get the feeling that they're lobbing because they can't drive, as opposed to getting that lob up deeper and higher. That one, made Lofgren get out of the service box, but just there's too many balls where Lofgren is stepping forward, and then Ryan's trying to drive from too far back. Baxter.
Yeah, that definitely was a bad decision on that one. That was not the right ball. He just lost his patience. All right, a big and needed hold there from Nathan Crick. Good job. But that game definitely, we saw a few cracks from Baxter, a couple of rush shots. See if he can maintain or if that's going to be a trend. Because there's nothing that gets a team back in a match than your opponent missing a few balls and making a couple of bad choices. This switch in the backcourt does is Lofgren actually, if you hit it slow to his forehand, kind of like almost push it to it, he doesn't do a ton with it, but if you hit it into the screen and it comes off, he thumps it pretty good, and if the ball's high, so when you put Lofgren on this deuce side, what you're doing is forcing, giving them some opportunities to drive the ball off that side wire or hard off the back.
And of course, what he would really love was a backhand in the middle of the court.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah,
It's his favorite shot.
He's not seen any.
No, both teams are doing a good job of shutting down their opponent's strengths.
That was a great read from Ricky Heath. It's too short a lob to make that forward move because he just dumped it right over him. Great play. Stay back there, but I think that underhand serve is definitely working well against Lofgren too. He can't really hit that down overhead. He's getting some forehand spikes though on these. It's forcing them to change the way they want to attack in the backcourt a little bit. Overhead just overall much better in this match than the other one they played back against Western. He's doing a lot more damage with it, keeping
30
it
love.
out of trouble. He was hitting it down, and Crick was spiking balls in their last match.
Did you call that match?
I did, yeah. And it was a good match. I mean, it's not a lot separating these teams, but it's a question of execution. I mean, today, definitely Baxter Heath just doing a better job when they're having the opportunity to hit some attacking shots, taking the right ball. And Heath's overhead is definitely making a difference.
Yeah, they just look like they're more determined to play paddle points as opposed to getting into that. They like to get into that fast exchange of playing mini tennis. But these guys are too good. Their hands are too good. Their skills are too good. You can't get away with playing that style at this level.
Game Baxter Heath. Baxter Heath lead 2-1.
So it's 2-1 now. Baxter and Heath, and a great job. Now we'll see here in the last game, Baxter did get a little impatient. A couple of balls he pulled the trigger on, one very, very difficult one time off a half volley. Another one he wasn't set for, so they got to just keep maintaining the discipline because, you know, they have the edge right now, Jerry. You know, from them, they just got to keep plugging away, and as long as they don't, you know, get loose. Seen yet, and it's a yet thing because it's still a super close match. Anything from Crick and Lofgren, Rhett. But they did do a great adjustment in the backcourt. I love that. And that's what we need to see, the drop shot. He's been taking that and just slamming it back into Baxter's backhand again. And that's the shot. It's 20, you know, it's whatever it is, 7 degrees out there. You know, it's perfect day to hit. Oh, great hands from Baxter. See, now this I like. He's making a move up and back.
And there a cut overhead. There's your combinations.
Yeah, but it all started with moving the guys up and back, getting the weaker ball, and then the cut overhead finds its way, right? It's not the same ball every time. That was great.
I like that heavy roller that Lofgren's starting to use more now.
He's recognizing that, you know, I think they're recognizing a lot of things that we're talking about, and they're trying to find a way. Yeah, they made the switch in the backcourt. They're starting to vary their overheads a little more, trying to create a little more movement. We pretty much exclusively saw that up dunk from Lofgren. Now we see 2-3 drops. This is good.
match fitness definitely favors Crick and Lofgren. They have a lot more tournaments.
There's a good lob.
Both teams just showing incredible discipline and a willingness to grind.
Yeah, they're doing a great job, and they've made some adjustments, both teams, and they're keeping it out of the strike zones from the opponents. And when
See,
they get
that's
it
the
there,
shot sorry, Brett. That's the shot I think Heath should lob. Baxter just hit a really deep overhead down the line. Ball came back
Crick and
hard at
Lofgren. Games, 2 games apiece.
to each, to Heath. And then Randy's all over the net. Lofgren's all over the net. And like, he'll just take that ball and go back down the line over his left shoulder.
yeah, and he doesn't hold, like, he held that one drive from before, but he's not setting up for the drive, looking like he's going to hit it and then using the lob. You know, it's almost like he's like, I'm lobbing, I'm driving, right? And if you can hold Lofgren for a moment
15
there,
love.
you know,
He's
just put it up.
Lofgren is, like you said, he's hanging over the net, expecting that ball to be a drive.
See if we see the switch in the backcourt again. They've been using it every game so far. Oh, nice little dink with a blitz behind, but Crick closes in well enough.
Constantly, not really probing Brad, just both playing very calibrated shot selection.
Yeah,
High percentage.
yeah, it's not like, and you don't see, like, you watch Heath back here, he hasn't missed a ball. You know, he's made 40, 50 in a row, but you haven't seen him once lob to a spot and then set up or make a move to a forehand grip or a change or a move up the line, or throw it in where you have a combination of balls. They're more like, we're just going to keep throwing it back. We'll throw it back again, and eventually you're going to make a mistake. You know, or eventually, you know, it's not like we're seeing the lob here, the move there, and the set for the forehand, right?
Right.
Or something of that nature.
And it's such, you know, it's such a fine line. Okay, you've
Well-
got to have that offensive mindset, but your willingness to wait.
Correct.
Oh.
30 love.
That's bad luck. It's a great look, and he did the right thing. He just got to execute. Yeah, there's 2 levels to it. On one level, Heath hasn't missed a ball, and they're not threatening him, so he doesn't need to change or do anything differently. On another level, it's, you know, it's just going to be a grind because you're not setting up the point. But he's also not making that many bad choices, if any.
I think maybe the cold temperatures are helping them too, because the balls are not sitting up. They're not so tempted to be striking balls that are more lively.
Yeah, you might be right. I was thinking about that, actually. I was going to ask you a little bit if you thought the temperature was making a big difference one direction. But I think it
so.
does. Because, you know, Lofgren's backhands, that flat backhand down, he has, what's he hit? 2? 1?
No.
Has he even had a backhand that is actually factored in the match?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so producer chiming in. It's 20 degrees, and that is today's high. So I guess we're at the high temperature mark here.
Yeah.
See if the players can capitalize.
Well, we're already in shorts.
There you go. Right, exactly. I mean, I just want to know what's next. Speedos? I mean.
Oh, please, no. Yeah, we just got a score update. Ram and Wagner are through 6-1, 6-love.
Wow.
Over Hirsch McGrath.
That is a good win for them.
And
Congratulations.
Lewis Lofgren got the first set 6-1 and 4-5 over Aaron and Murphy. Fraser Morgan up 5-1 in the
40
first
love.
set.
Now that time, he stays back on the serve. Offering a chance to hit that and come in. This is the transition ball. Just a great look. Baxter
game. Baxter Heath. Baxter
reading
Heath
that
lead
play.
3 games
They know
to 2.
he knows that they're going to bounce it down on him. And whenever you got a player that stands in the court, a lot of people think they're just going to hit it at him, but you got to go low through him.
So Heath continues to hold serve. And Brad, I just want to take a moment to thank one of our national sponsors, Viking. Sure, other paddles companies make platform tennis balls. Viking make the #1 ball in the game. The player's clear choice, the Viking ball. Extra duty, advanced flocking process promotes proven, long wear, and provides the perfect texture for maximum ball spin and control. High-end proprietary rubber compound allows for the softest feel and the most consistent bounce. The official ball of the National Championships and the official ball of the Grand Prix Series. So 3-2.
You know, that last game that we saw there from Crick and Lofgren, they did not choose to switch in the backcourt. I actually thought it was a good move. I liked the look. I liked the change. They didn't do it that time. And there's a good look at the drop again. Nicely done. Oh, a half committed attempt there from Baxter.
Also the switch, I mean, not just changes the look, but it changes the energy.
Yeah, I thought they didn't break them, but I liked it. I thought they were doing better in the games. You know, I thought it was a good idea. And there we go. He's getting smart, Lofgren. There's the drop shots, making a difference. So 30 love.
Love. game. Second set tied, 3 games apiece.
All right, so it's the blitz from Lofgren. I think, Jerry, when he gets that lob sort of and he makes Heath go a little bit behind Baxter, I'd like to see Crick start moving up the wire a little bit.
Yes.
Get over there and take some of those balls down up. If he gets, you know, now Heath does have a great long overhead that he could spin into that side wire, but if he gets over there and the lob's deep enough, he's gonna get forehand looks.
No, I agree. He could also sneak in.
See, that's
Just
too
to be-
short.
just
He
to
can't
be
do it
deeper.
there.
Yeah,
But
just-
But when he gets him back, nice, good. Just
That was a little casual volley there. Grab.
Great hands from Heath. It almost looked like he was letting it go or being like, he played it perfectly. He got it within an inch of the baseline. Gorgeous. That's a good ball, but if he takes some movement there, that's a bad switch of the overhead in the backcourt. And we finally see a Lofgren backhand, right?
15.
So that's hitting faster than you can shift. And this is where just the mental discipline comes into play. You've got to be willing to grind. Crick and Lofgren are not going away.
I think both teams have shown the willingness to grind. That hasn't been the issue at all. But there is a big mental component out here for sure.
Good.
Consistent diet of deep overheads from Crick and the occasional down-ups and a lot of down-ups into the backhand corner. Oh, he didn't get that drive at Lofgren there. Finally had him off the net. Oh, it must have hit the seam, I think, Jerry, because he had an easy beat on that ball, and he whiffed it. So that's a good fortune there for Crick and Lofgren. The seam can, where the wires are all tied up. Ball can move anywhere. Oh,
Good hands by Baxter.
awesome hands, and you know, Crick just good hands by Heath too, because Lofgren had him in his sights. Now Lofgren getting a little more aggressive. I like it. Again with the seam and again with the whiff. Great shot. That's 2. Hey, that's terrific. But I got to be honest, so he's a little flat-footed on both of those, right?
Yep. Far back off the net Baxter was with those volleys.
Crick, Lofgren.
There's a little crack in the
They
armor.
lead the second
and
set,
finally,
4 games to 3.
Crick and Lofgren get their first lead and see if they
Pulling ahead.
can consolidate.
And Fraser and Morgan have got the first set 6-2 over Taylor
Right
McKnight.
Do you just need 2? Or you need more?
Lewis Lofgren are through 6-1, 7-5.
Now there was a
And
win.
Ram
go ahead.
Wagner, 6-1, 6-love.
Yeah, that's just a great win for them. But there was a window there where we saw Ricky Heath dictating with his overhead, Jerry. You know, a lot of energy, cutting, letting the ball drop, working down, getting low. And he's another tall guy. He's got to be 6'3", 6'4", right? And really just working him over. To me, I've seen like just the subtlest energy drop. They're not going anywhere, but there's a drop in whatever that intensity and that level is. And in a match like this where they're both just kind of grinding and they're, you know, it's a huge difference. Let's see if Crick and Lofgren capitalize, or, you know, Heath and Baxter can find the energy again. I mean, Baxter's still moving around.
I think that's where Crick and Lofgren, you know, have the edge. Is just that tournament experience.
Nice dig. And I actually think one of the things that has made a difference is, you know, a few of the drop shots, a few of the, you know, changes of strategy, making the guys move a little bit. Oh, catches him reaching. Good spot.
Look at his positioning.
Yep.
That ball went over to Baxter. You got to shift over so you don't have to make that reaching error.
And it was a good recognition from Baxter there. He sees he's not in position. He slings the ball over there towards his right hip.
And I just feel the energy of Crick and Lofgren, like you said. It's just, they just seem a little fresher, a little sharper.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say Crick and Lofgren. I mean, Lofgren definitely has gotten a little more aggressive, tried to make a few things happen, thrown some blitzes in. But I just see there's that, but I also just see the dip of energy out of Ricky Heath specifically. And that's the thing about when you play a grind. When you play a grind, you're playing a mental match. You know, there is no question about it. It's a great rip, but just Lofgren right there again.
And just the guys will be playing the semifinals tonight. It's scheduled for 5 o'clock, and then the finals will be tomorrow morning at 9.
It's 4 o'clock now, and you know we could be out here until 5 o'clock if this thing goes 3 here, Jerry. Easily, actually, with the grind that this match has been so far. So, you know, if either one of these teams, well, obviously one of these teams is going to be the semifinals. You know, 5 o'clock may be pushing it.
Right. The only good thing is that the other quarterfinal, the winner of this match, they're still playing as well.
Oh, and see, to me, that's not a hard volley from Baxter. He just, that's the energy drop, to be honest. I mean, that's more like he just gets caught. It's a nice little spot, but stuck. Yeah, that makes no sense, that drive.
Smart
He's
shot.
right. Yeah, but he's right on the net. He's hitting an off-pace drive, which is only useful on a player you know is off the net, right? See, that's a mental error, right? And he gets the easy drop winner. That's a great play by Lofgren, but nice hold. They're going to have to collect some of this energy now and dial it back up a notch. Things were going well for Heath. and Baxter. Heath was doing a lot of damage with the overhead, a lot of attack. That's just such a good play.
Just long.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great move.
15 love.
Just gets caught, the ball a little up on him.
So Ricky Heath has held his serve all through the match. So we'll see if he can hold on here. Nice look at those backhand drives in the middle.
You know, this is that time in the match too. I mean, from the get-go, it's been this, you know, well-played grind, and you just are half a step from where you were, right? You know, that little bit, and that's all it takes, right?
Yeah.
It's a huge difference.
And you can see Lofgren taking advantage there.
Yeah, his energy's about to rise, and he has. Ooh, but a couple of misses here. That's the first fault, I believe, for Heath. I haven't seen one yet. 30 all. If I'm Crick Lofgren, I want to play good, solid point here. I want to get this game now. You know, don't give him a chance. Don't serve it out. Get this game now. Well, their energy's a little down. You got to figure there's a second wind in there for Heath and Baxter.
40-30.
Yeah, but Crick and Lofgren keep the pressure on. Like you said, let's take care of it now. Let's move that ball around. Crick's doing a good job with his lob and making Heath go back. Cover a lot of balls back and to his left.
Oh, he slid it just wide.
Game. Baxter Heath.
I think he had the spot, though, Jerry.
He
you were
had
about
it.
to say.
He had it.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I thought that Crick was really putting that ball, placing that ball well. You know, I think if Heath is getting a little bit tired, Baxter could take some of those overheads and still just dump them straight back. All right. All right. So 5-4, Crick. Serving for the second set. That's just that overhead that he puts there. Again, it's like deep in the court by the singles line, not giving him anything to work with. Oh, good hands. You cannot take Randy Lofgren one-on-one at net. You can't, especially if you're on the service line. Just
right, and that was sort of a flick drive. It wasn't like his big, heavy topspin one. And Lofgren just stuffed it right back at him. I mean, he literally wants that, looking for that exchange. And he's a half an inch from the net, and the other guy's 6 feet from the net, right? So
yeah,
unless you're hitting the ball down, the advantage is to the net man. The only other play is to go hard right at his body, you know, which he wasn't doing there. Oh, we got him to reach. Lofgren got a little too far, a little greedy.
he was looking for the cross-court shot, but got to let Crick handle that. Oh, beautifully lined up.
30-15.
Yeah, great shot.
2 points from the set.
He's played his last 2 drives at Lofgren, you know, to try and let him know that he's not going to let him cross every time. He's going to play it down his line.
It's that little probing backhand that Baxter has. Oh!
Yes! Oh!
Yes!
Here we go. We got the great drop with the around the post. Oh!
Wow.
We got to get a replay there.
Great energy. What a move.
And great recognition by Crick. Although I think, you know, if he thought at all he was getting, he could have moved over on the line, but he just did a great anticipation. Baxter around the net post. Awesome play. All right, so 40-15, couple of set points here for Crick and Lofgren. Ah, and there it is.
Just stayed the
set,
course. And
Crick
so,
Lofgren,
you know, I
6
think
games to 4.
the little bit of the energy drop, and he's not lobbing as many balls down the line as he was in the first set. You know, he was more determined and focused on lobbing down the line. Kind of started to drift a little bit, and Lofgren just taking advantage of those off-pace drives, like you said. He's just all over the net and got some drop and created some movement. There's that get. Look at this.
And another get there from Crick, which was great. And that ball went off the snowboard. That thing, I think, could have died, but it actually came up off the snowboard. We'll watch this one more time. This ball that goes behind, it's coming up a little. That's just a great play all around, and they get the point. You know, and I think it's exactly what you said, and we were talking about it, Jerry, is when the energy drop comes, it's probably the reason why the lobs aren't as good. You know, the mental discipline, the focus on whatever happens, that drops as well. Right, so, and that's where, to me, it all turned right there. They were comfortably kind of just leading and working their way. Then there was a precipitous drop in that energy, and we had those 2 like kind of seam balls that, you know, basically Heath whiffed, right? And from that moment on, you could see it was mostly just Crick and Lofgren was great at anticipating, you know, that turned the energy up a little. And those little changes they made, Jerry, you know, the switch in the backcourt once or twice. We talked about him hitting the same ball every time. He started using the drop shot as opposed to just bouncing it right back there. That was all the difference in the set.
Right, they created movement when they were at net, bringing the players in, covering the right spot. So, you know, it's really, for me, it's fitness. You know, it's body, mind, spirit. So does your body have enough fuel now to just fight through?
He's got to will it, catch a second win, something.
All right, so Ricky Heath is going to serve.
Go ahead.
I guess it's only fitting that it's another 3-set battle, Brad.
Oh. I mean, this one's a real battle, and that's a great serve. If that's any indication of the energy level, that's terrific. Great serve. Now, Heath in the first set was mostly serving and volleying successfully against Lofgren, and he's gone to staying back now. I wonder if that's a function of fitness as well. He's, you know, it takes more energy to get up to that net than it does to serve and stay back. There's a good high lob there from Baxter. And Jerry, I don't know what you feel about it, but I kind of feel like the high lob is a little bit more of a lost art these days, you know?
Yes. Yes. I mean, I understand hitting the intentional short lob to try to get your opponent to hit it down, up, overhead, or just a second guess, but you know, when you're trying to build the point and open up the court, that high, deep lob
Yeah, I
is
think
a,
it's
is a
going to.
good option. It also,
I-
you know, gives you a chance to shift over and set up your strength. It also gives you an opportunity to sneak in, set up a blitz. Got your opponents looking up for a longer.
And I feel like it's going to make a comeback. You know, like it'll start being more and more, and just because we're talking about it, though, Jerry.
No, because we always
We're
say
gonna-
high as the lights, right?
Well, that was, you know, back in the day. Now I mean, it's more than that. That's the only thing people used to say back in the day. Now you're hitting lobs for different ideas and different purposes. And you might take it early. You might want to steal time from your opponent, you know, by hitting a low, quick lob. You're right. So,
Oh, great cut overhead.
30 love.
Yes, yes. You know, there is purpose in changing the heights and the depth of the lobs. There is a plan behind it. It's not just because you hit a sorry lob. They're intentionally putting those balls in those spots.
you know, it's sort of like watching baseball now. They just hit home runs or they strike out. You know, nobody advances the runner anymore. It's a bit of a lost art there. In that case, it's an analytics thing, you know, but it's also the way the game is played now. But here I think the high lob, and there's a good high. See, there's some good higher lobs that I think he's measuring. Oh, good look there from
Yes.
Baxter. Dangerous
Yep.
shot there. I'd like to see the drop volley from Baxter there. That's the same.
I was just going to say that. There's an opportunity to hit the drop. I mean, and Crick is not even looking to come forward.
You know, in certain respects, there's been a lot of mirror imaging on both sides of the court. You got the lefty-righty. You got, you know, the lefties playing a little stationary, not looking to move that much in the backcourt. You haven't seen Crick make a move up the side wire or set up for one thing or another, content to lob. And if they get a ball to strike, they'll strike it. You know, and the I-court playing is looking to create a little more, but just haven't found a way to do it yet. There's a good look there. Bad switch.
Just do not want to give Lofgren that down-up overhead to his backhand.
Especially while they're switching sides of the court, right? They didn't even have a prayer of covering that one, so wisely they just go back and transition to the backcourt. But I definitely feel like the advantage has shifted for sure to the net team at this point. You know, there hasn't been a ton of creation yet from the backcourt, and if you're, you know, you got to do a lot of moving, you know, to get yourself set up in the backcourt to look for those drives, unless they're going to give them to you. Oh, he got it right on the edge. See, but that's what the drop shot does too. He had to run forward, Baxter, to protect the drop shot, and then he pushed it behind him. In the first set, all he did was push it behind him. He never had to worry about the drop, so helps out. What a difference.
Lofgren is just reading that ball, hitting the overhead, baiting Baxter to drive.
A couple of good looks there, a couple of good low drives, nice low volleys from Crick and Lofgren there. Just gonna keep working the backhand and the body of Heath.
Good lob.
Working the backhand of Baxter as well.
Combination of lobs. That's just make Lofgren go back 2, 3, 4 times to take the ball. This Crick is just so dialed in with his overheads. I mean, he just keeps going for that spot, that singles line deep in the court. He's got good cut, and then he'll hit a combination, hit a side screen, but got to try to take that out of the rhythm, get him out of the rhythm.
I'd like to see a help call there from Heath. You know, that ball easily could have gone over to Baxter on that ball. He did the turnaround shot off the screen there. And you could see Crick and Lofgren taking aim at the crease at the nick a lot more right now. Whether they get it or not, they're creating some movement. That's a great transition ball there from Heath. Yeah, stay this way for a second. Let's see. You can get that look. There you go. Yeah, that's it. That's it. And he falls right into it. Just bounces it right up to his forehand.
40-15.
45. Heath serving. We're in the third set, men's quarterfinal. Detroit Grand Prix. It's that flat push overhead that they're putting into Lofgren.
It's actually not a bad shot to Lofgren. He doesn't want to, he doesn't strike the forehand that much if you just lay it to him. He likes it off the screen or bouncing down into him. Backhand he'll hit from a lot of positions.
These overheads are too short. So it's allowing, you know, Crick to just hit block lobs off the deck.
Yeah, when it was going really well, he was spinning him around in there, and he just goes for too much on that lob. The down line's the right idea, but hey, good job for Baxter Heath gritting out a first game there in this third set.
Yeah, I mean, you just, how does a team create offense, right? Short balls, down up overheads. You really have to watch when he's going into that corner.
Yeah, that's how you create offense for the other team, by giving them the short balls, by hitting the down-up overheads when you're at the net. Yep, no question.
That was I just felt, you know, Ricky Heath was hitting that overhead similar to what Crick was doing in the first set, you know, deeper in that corner, really handcuffing him.
You see another change of look in the backcourt here. So they've left Baxter over it. Now that's going to stop the overheads from going to the sides as much. They're going to have to use the middle more. Anytime they go down into the sides, Heath and Baxter will be getting more looks because they want to hit those high forehands that they try to hit out wide. That's what this position is going to do, bait them. And if they hit the right spot, though, they can actually get closer to each other in the middle and bait them a little bit. But again, we aren't really seeing the lob to the setup, Jerry. We're just seeing the lob and wait.
The lob because they can't drive.
Right. Oh, see, that's a energy,
Long
fitness,
15.
whatever you want to call it.
That's a
right there.
tired swing.
Yep.
15 love.
He did it. I mean, they handcuffed him. You had to get out of your own way, but. Needs to take that ball earlier.
See, again, that's just, yeah, it's, he
Crick
cannot
just-
hit that thing off his heels. He's
30
not letting
love.
he's not getting behind it. The ball's not getting in front of him. Then, if you do that, now you can actually almost see the opponents a little better. You got to look at the ball, but then you could drive it or lob it. He's sort of like, you could see it. It's behind him. He's definitely driving it. Lofgren's right there to stuff the volley.
But it's set up by Crick's overheads.
Yes, but I mean, it is, but Heath doesn't have to take that ball unless he's in the right position, right? He's got to lob that. And specifically, probably down the line even. Oh,
Very
gut.
creative.
That was a great gut.
That's just a great shot.
Right at the crease. They're really aiming. They're taking aim right at those corners.
That's it. A couple of lobs like that in a row. Open up the court. Create movement.
It's not going to matter as much if Heath doesn't move over into position and look for that forehand to take early. Because if he doesn't move over, it's giving Crick that spot to slide the ball into the backhand or to the side wire. If he moves over to his, to his right, towards the side screen, now the play is complete.
Yes.
I bet the lobs are much better. You're absolutely right there. You got Crick way back behind him. We saw more of that in the first set.
It just opens up the court. It gives you more choices.
Oh, that was a good spot there from Heath. And here's where the finishing overhead comes into play. I've seen about 5 balls that certain other matches, I think that point would get finished, or the attempt would be made.
Yeah, because the lobs are shorter and you have
Right.
time, you have options. You can hold it,
See, like,
fake.
like that right there, that could be finished,
Yeah.
depending on who you're playing against. Oh, and there's the danger, but good play from Baxter. Baxter still, his legs seem fine.
Baxter's a scrambler. He likes the speed. I'm sure he would like some hometown support. If we weren't in these COVID times, he's the director of rackets at the Birmingham Athletic Club, which is not too far from this club. Little hometown energy.
That's just a great ball. Finally, they get the nick, but unless you're going to set up the point like we're talking about, the net team has the advantage here because eventually you're going to find the nick, the crease, and you're going to find that spot. And the winner's going to be there for you. Oh, and Lofgren gets greedy there.
40-15.
But ever since that drop shot has come into play, what a difference for Crick and Lofgren. That's the right idea with the down the line lob, but just didn't execute. So there's the game. 1-all.
One game apiece.
Just waiting to get an update on the other quarterfinal match.
15 love.
Fraser Morgan got the first set 6-2 over Kayla and McKnight.
Good lead there from Lofgren. Very wise. Ball's too low. Can't get offense. Oh! What a move. Yeah, his energy is risen. So, Jerry, we still think the semis is going on at 5?
I don't think so, Brad.
I think we're well past that. I'd 5 Pacific time,
Yeah.
8 Eastern. No, I think maybe we'll do. Maybe we might get to 6 o'clock. I think we'll probably have, but we'll see. And we'll keep everybody updated on that. Oh, Crick makes a loose area. Instead of closing in where he might have the angle, he goes for it from too far back from the net.
Brad, I can't imagine the players would want too long a break.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know, because like we said, they're going to change their clothes, obviously, but there's nowhere for them really to go.
Yeah. And speaking of changing their clothes, they don't have to do that they do it in the hut, in the bathroom there. I mean, because you got to change your clothes in 20-degree weather in between matches. Yeah.
In shorts and t-shirt.
Trying to make something happen with that backhand and blitz, but that serve's coming in low, so they're going to volley it back, keep it low enough. It's a good job.
$40-15.
Good shot. Get it low and Lofgren continuing to blitz. I think it puts good pressure on. Forced a couple errors. Been a good look for him.
Oh, there's the backhand drive and the blitz combination.
And Heath he reaches for that one because he doesn't get his feet underneath him. He easily could get it off the screen, but that's just a great play from Lofgren.
And he's got a little spring in his step.
Yeah, no, and that's a big deal. That's 2 quick points because of the blitz and the energy that Lofgren's putting in there. Oh, geez, the miscommunication from Crick and Lofgren.
Baxter should remember that spot.
Baxter wisely stays back that time because they could. I would have actually loved to have seen an Australian or just a different formation too. When you get to that point in the game, somebody's done something to you 5 times in a row, just change your formation just to do it. You know, just to give them a different look.
And I would take Lofgren out of the play right now because you can definitely feel that he wants the ball.
Well, that's a much better, deeper serve there from Baxter, though. Good job. Problem is you can't take him out of the play on the return.
No.
Got to serve it to him.
That's it. That's
it.
the only ball
Game.
right now he's going to get.
2-1, Baxter Heath.
And I think it's as you said, Jerry. Take him out of the play, and they found a couple of mistakes there and a little mental error, miscommunication.
Yeah, it's not because Crick's playing poorly. He's not. It's you can just feel the intensity dialing up from Lofgren that he's looking to create that ball, and he's like stepped it up with his intensity, and he's going to the plays, taking it to them. So when you sense it, when you feel that, you want to take that player out of the points. See if you can freeze them out a little bit.
Well, Baxter Heath, great hold there. They're up 2-1. You know, benefit of a miscommunication, and you know they're up 40-15 in that game, and a couple of blitzes. We'll see if that continues to become a factor in the match. The Lofgren blitz.
Let's hope that Crick doesn't hit this camera. we have lost one of the cameras. I think Ryan Baxter took the camera out.
Seems to be coming right at it, Jerry. Is a good look at
hear
Nathan
me.
Crick there. Yes, I like it. He's wearing the seasonal, actually, I guess a little post-seasonal, the ho-ho-ho shirt. All right, here we go. 1-2. Nathan Crick serving. And it's just a battle right now. This is going the wire.
Oh, look at this. Switch in the backcourt.
Love it. Different look. See, that's a cut finishing ball. If you're ready for it and you have the shot. That's the key, though, right? Oh. A couple more miscommunications.
No floaters. No floaters. Crick is going to make you, Lofgren's going to make you pay.
By floaters, you mean those off-pace kind of drives while he's standing at the net? Yeah.
Yeah. If it's not a bullet, if it doesn't have any pace on it, you know, we've seen what he can do.
Oh, all right. So love 30, a good ball there. The switch in the backcourt in the last point and a fault. So good start here. See if they can build on it. Again, the switch in the backcourt. I love it. It sort of changes them. They're going to make them push it down the middle more now. Oh, just a little backside. Gets
15,
lower
30.
than Baxter believes. Can't come up with it.
Nice preparation by Baxter. You see his paddle go down before the ball hits the court. That's what gives him time to play the screens, because when the ball comes out of the screen, his paddle only has to go up or forward if he's going to drive it. Little, like a half-pace drive would be a good shot for Baxter to try there. You know, they both know he's coming with a hard, low ball, so they've set their paddle. But if Baxter kind of held it a little bit and flicked it up by their armpit, a little higher, right? Make their hands have to go up rather than just hold still.
Yeah, you got to put a little extra spin on it when you do that, but absolutely. And he has the racket skills to do that, without a doubt. was on the run, but like you said, the biggest thing is you got to have kind of a purpose for every shot you're going to hit, those little drives like that.
30 all.
Nice volley there.
All right, so love 30, and they get it back to even. It's a big point here. Interesting. Crick doesn't seem to mind. He just keeps going towards that side screen and just put Baxter forehand in play a little bit with that. But
you see Lofgren making the adjustment, taking that overhead and putting it in the middle of the court. well, from start to finish, Jerry, this has been like a remarkably consistent type of match. You know, and there's been some subtle adjustments that they've made and some good ones. Energy drops right in there. Both teams grinding to the end. And then they've eliminated the high-risk shots.
We saw a couple of things make a huge difference. You know, the Lofgren drop shotting the ball, looking for the drop on those cutoff volleys as opposed to pounding them back into the screen. A couple of little switches in the backcourt, and then just all the work you got to do in a day like this. I mean, the amount of balls these guys are playing today in this one match alone. I mean, if we had an average point clock on this thing, I would say the average is 40, 50 balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure what it would be, but
Now some of these points are 80, 90.
yeah, I mean, 40, 50 balls is absolutely probably at the average point here. And that's not easy to do because a lot of points can end in the first three shots, but not here.
Because again, the drive is at the same height over the net. So Lofgren has his hand set before Baxter even swings at it. But it's good discipline from Baxter. He's, you know, I'm sure he's just used to winning a lot of points off of his bullet forehand. But it's just not going to work against this team. So the trick is not to get frustrated and try and, you know, drive the wrong balls.
By and large, I mean, I think he's been very good. There was a little hiccup.
Oh!
That's about
it caught
4 or
the
5
same.
of those that I've seen from Crick a little bit now. I think it did hit the seam, but that's great fortune there.
Deuce.
And a great shot there. So deuce. It's a pretty remarkably consistent serving though, Jerry. I think there's been maybe 2 faults the entire day.
Yeah, it's been impressive.
I wonder if there's a part of that is also just because there hasn't been a lot of threat to the receivers, you know, to the servers. You know, there hasn't been like that, oh my God, I'm afraid to serve it somewhere. You know, they're just crushing every ball.
Right,
Right?
you're going to thump it. Yeah. No, good point, Brad.
know, I like that. Even though it wasn't the best drop, if he makes Heath move forward, he's really not getting hurt, and it just creates a little extra movement. Once again, Lofgren's probably shut down more drives than almost any match I've seen, you know, just right on top of the net. Well, that's because of the style of the match, but one after another. And almost no misses. You know, like usually you net one of those or you get one out. Just almost none.
All four players have just dialed into the rhythm and the pace of play of this match. You know, I thought the speed of play was going to pick up in the beginning of his third set with Lofgren, but
Out.
they've done a good job of just negating that spark.
Here's a little window. If they can get this break, take the 3-1 lead. Tiny bit of breathing room.
You just can't, it's too good.
Deuce.
Lofgren is just too good. I mean, you hit one drive, that's it. You've volleyed it back. Back to deuce.
Focus on those down the line lobs, get them out of position if you can.
Just such small margin of error here. Also, Brad, you know, the lefty-righty combination, I mean, really is an advantage.
Oh, I played with many lefties over the years, and I loved it. It was great. Just gives you the ability to attack both screens more so. The lefty can do so much more work in the deuce court player against the deuce court player than a righty can. The only drawback is a little bit of net coverage. You know, you have to get a little closer to each other at the net on the volleys. But, you know, with the way Crick and Lofgren do it, Lofgren takes a lot of that space. You know, they have a nice move. And, yeah, see, that's the problem right now at this point for Baxter. He makes a move, but he doesn't have the legs to cover him. You know, like it's a risk-reward move.
Yeah, I like the move, but you're in the third set, and it's the first time you're trying it.
He went a little higher on that drive there, Jerry, and he almost got the error. He didn't, but it was a good play.
Game.
All right.
Crick, Lofgren.
Great
2
hold.
games apiece. Third set. 2 apiece.
Nice rip by Crick.
Love 15.
I like that play. Little couple of push overheads to the middle. Close the net and volley behind. Oh. Great rip again, but he was given
30.
the high ball off the back screen that allowed Crick to drive it.
Yep. And that's the trick. I mean, I think at this point, one little mental error of overhitting a ball. If you want to overhit the ball, you know, to create movement in the team and then bail off the net or get right up into a position for a closed-in volley, that's one thing. If you're just doing it and giving them a good look, you gotta have most shots you play, and I think sure you would agree, it shouldn't just be I'm playing a lob. It's I'm playing a lob here looking for there, right? Or I'm hitting this shot there, creating this, right? And then you're moving accordingly and doing the next thing. You know, here we're just hoping the grind, you know, we're just not gonna miss, right? And then we're gonna mentally work it.
That's it. Every shot has a purpose, right? You want to put that ball, just like you said, you want to lob that ball down the line so you can shift over and look for your offense.
But there's no shift over, right? And there's
no shift over.
Yeah.
We're not seeing that next step.
Right. I mean, we're seeing the willingness to grind, which is great. And of course, we talked about one of the things that is a level separator is the finishing overhead. I've probably seen at least 15 finishing overheads, you know, that could have been hit. But when you get in this mindset too, it's as if you can't go for the shot because you don't want to miss it, right? So you can't afford, like you can't go for it and then miss it because you're like, it's the worst thing. And that's just a great move. There you got Lofgren using his legs, using his energy.
Waiting for the down up overhead. Pushed it long.
1540.
I think Heath's got to be very careful about the pace he hits these overheads now. Just get him in that last 2 feet of the court without the pace, so Crick can't use it off the back screen.
See, now there's a good look, right? He hits the ball down the line. You should be looking for that four in the middle. I'd like to see him actually set in his forehand grip already. 1-2 steps over, moving forward again. Now, that's a good ball, but he misses it in the net. That's one of Crick's balls that he loves to hit.
30-40.
Well, it just wasn't in between him and the net when he took the swing, but
yeah, a little bit behind. The ball's a little behind him, right?
A little bit, but I like the look.
Oh, what a return. What a serve there from Heath. Came off nice off the back screen. But it's really, like we were talking about, it's not just the lobs high, but it's really the secondary parts of it. Like if you're going to lob it well down the line, it means the ball's going to move to the middle,
Crick, Lofgren.
right? Or it has a good chance to. That means you set and you look for a ball. Or if you're hitting it cross court, you can slide yourself up the wire. We're just not seeing those moves. Now, in retrospect, it saves you some steps. You're not wasting any energy, and it doesn't look like there's a lot of energy to spare out there. But there's our first crack, so a break for Crick and Lofgren.
Yeah, that's the first break of serve from Heath. I'm not sure, but I think Randy Lofgren has got one of those hot hands packs.
3-2.
Oh, you mean
You know,
where? Where does he have it? In his shorts, I guess?
And now in his pocket. It looked like one of those
His
things. He
pocket?
was shaking it a little bit.
So it's
I
a
just
hot pocket?
I just caught it out of the corner of my eye. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what it looked like.
Ooh. Got a one screen. I think it might have hit the seam there on the
15
side
love.
screen. Just love now. It's really sort of the now or never time, right?
Yeah, you can feel the momentum, you can feel the energy. Crick and Lofgren.
See, there's a good look. Now we got to get Baxter up the side wire on those, but the problem is the lobs have to be good enough. You got to get him down the line. All right, there's a little combination of balls that down the line gets. Yeah, so for all the viewers, this is a great exercise in, you know, the mental ability to grind. And like we said, we can see the places where there can be moves or opportunity. That's a great look there from Baxter. And
Nice
there,
rip.
we haven't seen that from Ricky Heath
15
in
all.
games where he took 3-4 rips and he stuck that one. That was a great shot. I think he's recognizing there's little time left. Whatever energy you've got in the tank, let's just use it. Dangerous over. That would have been another good look for Baxter to look for that backhand down up. Now he can move towards the side wire, Baxter, whenever he lobs the ball deep over Lofgren.
Yeah, I mean, that's the play because they don't have the angle to come back at you and hurt you in the screen when you lob deep down the line.
Oh, and that's a good look. And again, I mean, it's almost the exact same answer as
30,
with
15.
Crick, right? He's just, the ball's just a little behind him. He's not getting behind the ball, so it should be out in front of him just a hair more.
Oh, nice. Set up
30
by the
all.
lob. Huge point here, Brad. And oftentimes, you know, Jerry, you'll see a backcourt team move sort of in tandem. Like one guy lobs it, say down the line, that person moves. You know, they lob it to the left, that person moves to the right, and the other person moves to the right. So they'll move sort of in a synchronized way. Yeah.
A lot of the moves today have been one person lobs, the other guy may make a feinter move, but there's not that synchronized type of moving. And when you move in synchronicity, you know, what you're doing is covering the likely shots and giving yourself the best opportunity for the offense that can come.
Yeah, you're putting yourself in a position where you can just go forward. You don't have to move left or right and then forward.
That's a great lob. It's going to be a look. Ooh. That's a nice combo, though. They got him back. Good job from Lofgren. He's so tall, he gets back behind that ball.
I'd like to see what would happen if Baxter hit a few more of his lobs cross-court wider to Lofgren. I said a lot of the times he gets that lob and he goes straight back to Crick.
Yeah, but not only doing that, but then moving himself over towards the side wire. Surviving, but they had a chance to put Heath in a washer machine there. I think they could have gone at him a couple of times.
Yeah, like, you know, take the lob and go.
Oh.
It's got to be deep. That's a great shot.
Pace, just
40-30.
misreads it subtly.
It's nothing more gratifying than a snowboard overhead.
Good job there from Crick reading Baxter's positioning, slide it behind him long and deep to the corner. There it is again. Wow. Whew. Ooh, outside of the line. I don't know if you notice, you see Crick is starting to do that Lofgren sort of down up little hoppy waterfall.
Yes, yes, we guess that short ball.
They're both doing it now. They got some style with it. There you go. It gives you a little extra raise, I guess. And, oh,
It's tough. I mean, he's making him
Game.
take those
4 games to
overheads
3.
up
Crick Lofgren.
above the shoulders.
4-2, sorry, 4-2.
it was a good hole. There was a couple little moments, like you said, a big point there. And Baxter Heath had a slight look. This is in the last game that Baxter served. We saw that's what I was going to say. The Lofgren blitz started to make a difference, and I think he's got to continue that. I don't see any reason why Crick can't take this first drive and Lofgren can't blitz it behind it as well as, and I think we're going to see Lofgren blitz behind his own ball here.
That was
Let's
a
see, he gets
good
the
look
return.
at Lofgren's backhand there, two-handed backhand, which, like you said, we have not seen a lot in this match.
Well, it's a good job by the other team not setting it up, and it's also, like we talked about, they got to lob, and if Crick and Lofgren move together more synchronized, they'll have to be forced to hit it there every now and then. But they're just, you know, you got to create the opportunities in the backcourt.
15 love.
Especially against a good team. Here's going to be the hit and the blitz, but it's too good a serve. That's so
Yeah.
deep.
I mean, it's deep and it's not coming up past his knees.
Yeah, no, and
30
the other
love.
ones that he hit, they were just short one, and Lofgren was looking to blitz there. He just couldn't get it. Not only couldn't get it, he missed it. And there we go again.
Too good.
And
30-15.
if it's going to continue, I think he got to throw in an Australian or something, right? He's starting to run at a reasonably high percentage of doing it. Oh, what a shot there by Heath. Just flicks it low over the board. Oh!
Oh, smart play.
Yeah, but now he's got
Smart
Heath way out of
shots.
position. Yeah.
I tell you, Crick has just been solid as a rock.
30 all.
Great placement.
I don't understand why he didn't blitz again. I mean, it's been a play that's been working. And it's not like they're ever getting volleyed behind for winners, right? You know, it's been nothing but a positive for them.
I think these overheads are too
That
great
is a
cut.
big ball there from Heath.
I was just going to say, those overheads, he was hitting a combination of those short overheads to Crick. Crick's got great hands and a great block lob off the deck.
Oh! let cord, nothing Heath can do there.
Timely let cord.
Look for the blitz. No, it's long. All right, so another break opportunity for a 5-2 lead. This is a huge. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful opportunity that was. And I don't know if he was trying to hit him with it
I think
or
he was.
what. Because
I think he was.
I mean, he just had to push that thing in the middle of the court.
Roll it. Yeah.
I mean, and it's like he flared it. That was
Back
strange.
to deuce.
Oh, he redeems himself with a big drive there. Heath got caught. Didn't see that one coming. I still want to see that blitz from Lofgren as much as I can.
It's just a great serve.
Nice dig.
No, Brad, it's just so great to see all four players just competing so hard.
Oh, they're definitely battling out there.
Deuce.
I mean, I just backed the deuce again. Just little cut overheads, great in the air.
You gotta be careful of putting those overheads short in the box to Crick, especially with speed. You can use it off the deck.
Oh, that's a few errors there. They're getting a little crack in the armor, but good pressure with the overheads. Oh, he goes the overhand serve this time. I like it. Changes the look. I think Lofgren was actually surprised to see that hard overhand serve come in.
It takes
He did it
confidence.
quickly.
See, Crick has his eye on Baxter. And he's hitting those overheads into Heath's corner. But see, when he sees Baxter come all the way over to the middle, he's sliding that ball behind. That's great court awareness.
Nice ball there from Heath. Oh, yeah, that's just the footwork. He just getting a little tired. He had to go cover for Baxter on the move. The lob's a little short, but if you lob well cross court, that is the move to make, up that side wire, but the ball's just too short, easily put behind him. know, it's so funny when you get to somebody's strength. We talk about the safe spots on the court. We haven't seen Randy Lofgren hit really a backhand, so you'd be like, well, if they hit it there, he probably just won't be ready. I'm telling you, if they hit it there, he'll still be ready.
He's
and
ready.
He'll still be ready to thump it. His backhand's very economical. It's quick. Zing it in there. That's a good overhead that he's using in there, Lofgren, just to keep him going. That's another one. Nice. Controlling the tempo nice with the overhead. See, now a good deep lob like that, I would love to see Crick move over to the side wire, to his side wire, and Lofgren stand near that hash mark.
Oh, nice pressure by Lofgren.
Deuce.
Yep. He's got him on his heels, and he got him in a spot just off his left hip.
That's that just intensity.
We talked about when the semifinals might go on, Jerry, but I think I may need an hour break after this.
I wonder how long they'll take. We're going to have an interview with the winners of this match. I think we might have to leave it up to them because they might just want to change quickly and go back and play. But you know, I'd love to talk to them. They'll give us a couple of minutes, and then as soon as we know what time the next semifinals will be on, we'll post it.
Great job working him over. What a lob there. Oh, and Lofgren there again on the blitz, and he hits Baxter. Yep. And this is for 5-2.
And out.
At the 2.5 hour mark, our producer John just said.
Yep.
So there we are. Yeah, that's for sure. I need a break. Sure. I need an hour.
Well, and the other guys have been off for a while now.
And that is, of course, you're talking about Frazier and Morgan, who moved on.
No, Frazier and Morgan will play Rams and Wagner. And the winner of this match plays Lewis and Lofgren.
But
So
all the
I
other
am
semis,
told.
all the other quarters are done.
Yes, yes.
Games. 5 games to 2. Crick, Lofgren.
5-2, yes. Lewis Lofgren 6-1-7-5 over Ludo Aaron and Thomas Murphy. Rams Wagner over Hirsch McGrath, 1 in love. And Fraser Morgan over Kayla McKnight. I believe that score was 2 in love. I'm just waiting for clarification. So yeah, they've been off. And I don't know about how long you as a commentator, Brad, get as a break.
Aren't there certain rules? Are the union rules?
I know. Let me check on that.
That's right. All right, so here we have Nathan Crick serving now for the 3rd set.
For the match.
Oh, it's a reeky drive there, just wide. Yeah, I'm going to check those union rules. There's got to be something, something.
Get back to me on that. I'll talk to your boss.
Oh, they're going after it right now. It's interesting. They got that break, I think, took a little of a backbreaker out of them. They're just swinging now. We'll see if they go back to the grind. These are the strange moments for the other team where the other team gives you 2 points and you're like, they're giving it to us, but And
Oh.
look at that right away with a terrific hustle move.
30-15.
What a shot.
See if there's anything there. Spark this back. Again, there's that overhead of Crick's. I love it. It's deep.
Oh,
It's
and
nothing
here we
that
are.
they can attack. It's deep
40-15.
by the service line, singles line.
double match point here for Crick and Lofgren. And there it is.
There it is. Wow.
There's not a lot of Juba. It's more like, oh.
No.
6 games to 2. Crick, Lofgren.
We have to regroup. They've got to turn around. Boy, that was some battle. Really impressive display of. That's the first match that I've called with Crick and Lofgren. I mean, I know they're a good team, but just the shot selection and how they set themselves up, and the willingness to hang in the points, and the same for Baxter and Heath. I mean, they showed discipline. They showed it playing with a purpose, and I think just the fact that's only their second tournament. Ricky Heath has been out of the tour for a couple of seasons, so they should be encouraged by that. Probably not feeling it right now, but they should definitely feel the encouragement. There's Crick. We'll find out from our producer if we're going to get a chance to have a quick chat with them. Okay.
You know,
all right. So we're getting the call that we're not going to do the interview. I'm sure those guys want to, take a rest.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, that really was a true battle. And I think the thing that was great from Crick and Lofgren, was the adjustments. A couple of small adjustments that I think made a world of difference. Lofgren breaking out the drop shot.
Thank you.
Right. He was all over the net the entire match, but in the first set, he was just plugging the ball right back into Baxter's screen, and he went to the drop shot. That was a huge difference. He probably, when it's all said and done, he had 8 or 9 drop shot winners, Jerry. Plus, he created movement on other points that they won. They switched in the backcourt a few times, created a look, and then when the energy dropped out of, Heath and Baxter, Lofgren was there to capitalize. So.
And it's also a good lesson in Lofgren. They froze him out, and they gave a lot of balls to Crick, and just mentally, he stayed in it. And a lot of times, when you're playing in a league match, it's like, I'm not getting any balls, I'm not getting any balls, I'm not getting any balls, and then you get a ball and you swing too big. He just mentally stayed in that point and let Crick do the work and made smart choices when he got the ball. So very impressive. What a grind. So we're going to take a break. As soon as we get off this, we're going to find out how long the players are going to take. I don't know if they have to both go on at the same time or not. We'll check, because the finals is tomorrow at 9. But we will post it on the screen as soon as we know what time the players are going on, and we'll be coming back live here at Detroit for the men's semifinals. Brad, fun calling this match with you. Now you go take a break.
My union break.
You're on for the next match.
It's a pleasure, Jerry.